You know, I'll tell you one thing. It's already hard enough to be a rookie sensation, but to do it while being a left guard is nearly impossible. That's just one of the things that makes Quenton Nelson so great. He's making blocking highlights interesting to watch. Here's part of what makes him such an effective player. This is the blocking concept that the Colts are going to be running. Each guy is going to have a one-on-one matchup except for the center, who's going to be in a zone blocking scheme. The defensive tackle that Quenton Nelson is in charge of blocking is actually currently looking backwards as there is some sort of communication going on. And since the ball gets snapped while he's still looking backwards, this is now actually going to be a very good thing for the Colts and for Quenton Nelson. And so what he's going to do here is he's going to move up to potentially give himself an extra 2 yards. He took advantage of a situation and that allows him to get in much better positioning. One other thing I want to talk about is look at how far spread apart his legs are on display. This is huge as it lowers his center of gravity, which is so huge as an offensive lineman. Really balances everything when it comes to line play, and he's doing a great job of staying balanced and making his block. Nelson just completely took a tight end out of the play. It turned it into 10-on-10 football. Take a look at this next play. It's another good example of how it could be so effective. That's where he is on the screen, and this is the blocking concept that the Colts are going to be running. And what's interesting to watch here is Nelson's going to double team a guy and then move up to block a linebacker. So that means that he's going to be absolutely crucial on this play. As you see right here, typically at this point, this play has been going on for long enough that you think the running back would just have to run straight up the middle and pick up a couple of yards. Quenton Nelson has yet to move on to block the linebacker, and there isn't a ton of space, so this could be a bad thing for the Colts. However, instead of Nelson moving to his right and trying to block that linebacker straight up, what he's going to do instead is basically just move to his left and block that linebacker at an angle to the right side of the screen. As you see, it works out well, and they're able to create a hole to allow the running back to get through. He's a really talented player, and so sometimes to beat a talented player, you have to outsmart him. So take a look at this example of the Texans' attempt to outsmart Quenton Nelson. Typically on a play like this, Nelson's assigned man is going to be J.J. Watt. So what Watt's going to do here is move to Nelson's left, which is then going to force Nelson to have to go to his left. Then what they're going to do is send Clowney over to Nelson's right and allow him to get through to Andrew Luck. As you see, so far this play is working out perfectly. I mean, Nelson goes over to block Watt, and now there's a huge gap in between him and the center. Clowney's eyes are probably huge at this point as he sees he has a wide open gap. However, look at Nelson come back on this play. He's able to move over and still block Clowney out of the way. Luck got this throw off quickly, so I'm not even sure if it would have mattered. However, Luck certainly would have taken a hit if it wasn't for Nelson. And because of this play, even if Luck didn't throw the ball that quickly, he still probably would have had more time to throw the ball since Nelson took Clowney out of the way. So we've established that he can block as a conventional left guard pretty well. But let's take a look at some other unique plays that he runs. This is going to end up being a run to the left side of the screen. And so what you want to do in a situation like this is create good angles for your blockers to make blocks. So what the Colts are going to do here is have a left tackle block a defensive end and a tight end move up to block a linebacker, and then they're going to pull Nelson over to the left side of the screen. The real reason this is effective is it now essentially gives Nelson a running start to try to block that defender on the left side of the screen, who by the way is Clowney, who's definitely a very good player. Also, what you're going to see here, which is really smart, is Nelson's hands are going to go on Clowney's shoulder pads. Typically, you just want to put one hand on a shoulder pad and the other hand on the pec on the opposing side of the body, as that gives you more leverage. However, since Nelson already has a running start and has so much power, he knows that with his angle, the only thing he really has to worry about is Clowney getting around him. If he can grab onto Clowney, there's no way Clowney's getting through him with the running start that Nelson has. Nelson completely just owns Clowney on this play because of the running start, and it leads to a big run. It was a great block by Nelson, and really it was a great block all around by this Colts offensive line. I mean, having Andrew Luck help too, but really, blocking means so much in the NFL. And since Nelson has been such an effective player, that's really why this Colts team is so effective.